Hi, I'm Tom Russell with Furniture Today, and I'm here with Jonathan Sowter, President and CEO of Vietnam Furniture Resources, and Jonathan Charles. Jonathan, thank you so much for taking time to spend time with us here in your factory.
You're welcome. Thank you for visiting.
Well, we're here in Vietnam at this factory, and this facility has been here how long?
15 years in Vietnam, 5 years in this location.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got quite a long history. You've seen a lot of change over the years, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've been here 25 years in total in Vietnam in furniture. So yeah, a lot has changed in 25 years. Yeah.
So tell me, how did the company kind of get started, and how did it evolve to kind of where it is today, just in a nutshell?
I don't know is the answer. it just got started. It got started through necessity of me needing to feed my family, and I wanted to do something different. I needed to make something high-end, something craftsmanship based.
Yes.
I thought I'd have 100 workers, and 15 years later I've got 1,700 workers. So it just grew organically. From passion and dedication to the craft, I think.
Yeah. What got you interested in furniture?
It's all I've ever done. 12 years old, I made my first piece of furniture when I was 12 at school.
Really?
Left school at 16 and worked in a furniture company and got a job to come to Vietnam and build a factory for somebody and never looked back.
And what has it been about Vietnam that has made this the right place for you and the company?
I'm a craftsman, and the Vietnamese are great craftsmen. It's nice to be in a country where it's easy to train people. They want to learn how to do something. They're very proud people, very hardworking, but very proud. So it's easy to do high-end when the worker's proud. They want to do a good job. Yeah. So it's nice to be a part of that.
Sure. And when you're doing high-end, it's a very, I guess, piece-oriented business.
It can be, yeah. We started off being very much a item-based company, just developing items and so on. But always with something different, whether that's an attention to detail or a craft that is difficult to do elsewhere. We always wanted to do the things that other people either couldn't do or didn't want to do because it was too difficult.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so today, when you got started, did you have was it mostly an OEM business at that point, or did you establish the brand right away?
No, the brand got started straight off the bat, straight away, and I was fortunate enough to meet a distributor in the US who had an existing sales force. So the original plan was to be an OEM factory, but just purely by accident, everything kind of fell into place. We had our own brand very quickly. And it just took off based on craftsmanship and quality.
Yeah. But others in the industry really eventually recognize that quality.
That's right. They started approaching me. Other brands in the industry, high-end brands in the industry, started approaching me because we can make things that you can't make in England and America anymore. The crafts are not there. The skills are not there anymore. So we kind of specialize in the OEM industry for doing the high-end, difficult pieces.
Yeah. And that involves probably a lot of mixed media elements. You have your own foundry here?
We do, yeah. So we'll be doing stone, marble, wood, leather, upholstery, all on the same item. That's probably our number one speciality is mixing materials together.
Yeah. Now it's interesting, your company got started about 15 years ago, but that was probably right around the time, around when anti-dumping what became an issue. Not that really had a big effect on what you were doing necessarily, but
it helped. It helped the shift from China. It helped people were focusing on Vietnam then.
Yes.
So it was nice to have a new factory and people knocking on the door. Yeah, for sure.
That's good. Good. Well, it's funny. Our first trip at Furniture Today was in around 2004. We were seeing some of the transition ourselves.
So you've seen the changes.
Yes, indeed. It's and what's interesting now is we have this situation with the China tariffs. To what degree have things changed for your company in light of the China tariff situation? If at all.
We get approached all the time from different companies asking us to manufacture for them. We cherry pick the companies where we think we can bring value to their product line. And we've seen a big shift recently. People in the vanity unit industry approaching us. Every week somebody in the vanity unit industry is phoning up to make an appointment. So it's things like that. And for us, we're not really in the business of constantly looking for new customers.
Right.
Our business model is to do more business with our existing customers,
Yes, yeah.
so that we can all grow and be successful together.
Yeah.
So we're not really affected by this shift to Vietnam from China, because we're already working with the right people that we want to work with. We
Yeah.
just want to do more business with them.
Yeah.
There's one or two interesting new opportunities come along in the last few months because of the tariff situation, but it's not going to be a massive shift for us as a factory.
It's funny you mentioned the vanity situation, and that's something that is sort of a double whammy for China, for that part of the
Yeah.
Chinese cabinet industry. And we hear that there's more and more manufacturers that are looking, because I think there's some uncertainties right now to what degree those tariffs are going to be an issue for the industry, and whether in fact they're even, part of the vanities themselves are part of the actual
It's
beauty.
very unclear. It's very unclear.
Yeah, and there's some people that think, no, it really doesn't affect the residential side, it's just hospitality. Well, I've heard different.
Yeah, I've heard many different explanations.
Yeah, but it seems like it is having an effect, at least with people knocking on the doors.
Definitely.
We're going to probably hear more of that this week.
I'm pretty sure you will. Yeah, yeah. One of the knock-on effects of the shift to Vietnam from China is, factories are busy in Vietnam. It's getting harder and harder to recruit. Materials are going up. Things like that. It's like the gold rush right now in Vietnam, and so we have to be very careful what we do. We've got to fight very hard to retain our key people, and that's a healthy thing. Competition is healthy.
Sure.
But there's a lot of companies out there building new factories and so on in Vietnam.
Does this? We were talking about this yesterday amongst ourselves, and does this kind of put manufacturers to some degree a little bit in the driver's seat when it comes to? Is it a manufacturer's market versus an importer's market right now, or? But you're all competing against each other too, to a degree. I
think the local manufacturers, not the foreign-owned, but the local-owned manufacturers in Vietnam, they certainly see it as an opportunity to increase their prices.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to several Chinese companies who were thinking to transfer their production to Vietnam, but they say it's no cheaper than China, even with the tariff attached to it, because all the prices have gone up in Vietnam.
Sure.
So I think that the local factories, when they're busy, prices go up. When they're quiet, prices come down, and that's just the characteristic of local businesses here.
Yeah.
The foreign businesses are more professional and more strategic about their pricing and so on. But
in this environment, have you seen any specific challenges? And when I say challenges, I'm talking about poaching of workers. One company was telling me that workers will leave, and this is for larger factories, of 50 to 100 at a time.
yeah.
Are you seeing any challenge in retaining workers at all in this environment?
It's always a challenge. We recruit unskilled workers, generally.
Yes.
And we train them ourselves because we're high end.
Yes.
And if I recruit somebody who's got 10 years experience manufacturing medium end or low end, it's very difficult to train them to do it different to the way they've been doing it for the last 10 years. So we've found over the years it's actually better to take somebody with no skills and train them to do exactly what you want.
Yeah.
But then we have the danger of becoming just a university for other factories if we lose those workers. So we really focus on treating our people well.
Yes.
When they get offered another job from another company, they think very carefully before leaving us, because we're a good employer.
Are you able to make any counter offer or anything like that? Or
We generally don't. You end up getting into a bidding war, and keeping people just by being the highest payer isn't always the best policy. We want to keep people by being the best employer.
Yes.
And I think you'll see later when you go around the factory, we treat our people really well. You're going to be eating a worker's lunch today.
I hear that.
Yeah, so
we're looking forward to that.
We're quite proud of how we treat our workers.
Yes.
One of our proudest statistics, which is quite unique in this industry, is we've never had a strike.
Wow.
Touch wood. In 15 years. Never had touch wood. Never had a strike in 15 years. In an industry and in a part of the country where strikes are very common. Our competitors have strikes once, twice a year.
Wow.
So that means we're doing something well. And I think the reason for that is we have our ear very, very close to the ground.
Yeah.
I'm married to a local lady. I love Vietnam. They know that I love Vietnam.
Yes.
So I think we're approachable as a company.
yeah.
You only have a strike if you're not approachable. They feel they have no other option to.
Yeah, sure. Because we know a few years ago the strikes were an issue.
Huge, yeah. We never had any issues through that at all.
Yeah. So, And what are the opportunities that exist now in this marketplace? I would guess only to get better at what you do.
Get better at what we do. You know, we're now a part of a company called Marcor,
Yes,
quite a
sir.
well-known company in the industry.
Yep.
That's our opportunity. They're as good as it gets. They're the best of the best, and so they're bringing lots of opportunities, not just within China, but you know, throughout the world.
Yeah.
That really brings a good future for our factory.
Yeah, that's good. And it's also allowed you an opportunity to work both with their management team as well,
Yep.
some of their engineers and
Absolutely.
purchasing folks.
All we need to do is ask for help, and
Yeah.
the next week somebody comes and helps us.
Yeah.
It's very, very good to have that support behind you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So what's the outlook then for Vietnam right now? I mean, at some point, it's a bigger country than some people probably
Yeah,
realize, but it's
yeah.
not as big as China, obviously.
It's not, well, nowhere's as big as China. It's 100 million people. It's got a very young workforce. It's not got the education level that China has. So you know, I think Vietnam has to learn to be more efficient, learn to do things a smarter way. There's a danger for me, I think, with all of this shift from China to Vietnam. The danger could be the tariffs could suddenly apply to Vietnam if we're not careful,
Yeah, right.
and you become a victim of your own success. You draw too much attention to yourself. So,
Yeah.
for me, I just wish it would stay nice and quiet and
Yes.
keep your head down. It's a risk.
It is. It's funny that you mentioned that because for years, the furniture industry in Vietnam is always fearful and raised the issue is, are we going to have duties on our bedroom furniture? I mean, this has been a question that was asked years ago for many years in a row.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the best thing was to kind of maybe lay low a little bit, but in this trade environment, it probably seems a little harder to do that than not.
Yeah, it's, who knows? I mean, I think it would be a mistake to put tariffs on Vietnam. It doesn't necessarily mean it will bring jobs back to the States. It will just move jobs to India or to
Right.
Indonesia. It will just move to the next cheapest place.
Yeah.
But you know, things like infrastructure still have a long way to go here. The government have got a lot better. It's quite easy to do business here now. They've really improved over the years. But it's, like I said earlier, it's a gold rush right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming here.
So is there going to any type of expansion plans that you all have immediately, or?
Yeah, immediately we have some medium-term plans to build a new facility here with Marcor. There's a very clear plan of action that I'm sure you will be following the progress over
Yes.
the next few years.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of things to be following there.
Yeah. Well, good. A lot of things to look forward to then.
Yeah, good.